A bog filter is one of the most effective and DIY-friendly pond filters that any pond owner can create for their ponds. They can be made using pretty much anything that will hold water. When sized correctly, along with the right amount of flow, they achieve wonderful water clarity and quality. We are often using things that aren't pretty looking to make the bog filter. So how do we take these elements along with the plumbing and create something that's both functional and blends in with the surrounding landscape? In this video, I thought we'd look at some of my ponds and bog filters and what I've tried to do to make them look nice. From small mini bog filters, to medium-sized filters, and to larger-sized filters. A bog filter really can be used in any sized pond. G'day, my name is Kev. The aim of my channel and website is to help people build and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, feel free to subscribe and check out my website, ozponds.com. So first let's look at a mini pond and mini filter. This is a wine barrel pond with a plastic storage container bog filter sitting on top. I've made a video on exactly how the filter was constructed, so that will be linked in the description. The pump sits inside the pond. It's inside a plant pot, and I've cut a piece of coarse filter sponge to sit over the top. This prevents fish getting sucked into the pump and reduces maintenance. The little pipe from the pump is threaded up the back of the barrel to the bog filter. I've tucked it away too good in the filter cladding that I can't even find it. But it pops out here and dribbles water onto the surface of the bog. This is a gravel guard and standpipe. And the media in the filter is aquaponic clay balls, plus duckweed that's gotten everywhere. The plastic container used to make the bog is clad with some wood from an old pallet. The impatiens growing in the bog remain all year round under the cover of my veranda, although they do thin out a bit in the winter. There's duckweed and eelgrass inside the pond. It's a very simple pond to create, and there's not really any visible plumbing. Next we have a medium-sized pond and filter. This pond's around 3 metres by 4 metres and 60 centimetres deep. It's being filtered by a bog filter I made using an old olive barrel. Again, I'll put a link in the description to how this pond and the filter were built. The trick here was using the excavated pond soil to mound up a berm that would hide the barrel and allow me to create a stream and garden. On this one, the pump sits inside a small skimmer I made using a bucket. The pipework is running inside the liner, and the larger rocks and gravel were used to conceal it. Although with the plants now, you wouldn't even know that there were rocks there. The bog filter is hidden in the berm and behind the bush. The bush hiding the bog filter is called Trachelospermum tricolour, and it's done a great job hiding the top of the barrel. We have the breather pipe and some filter sponge that I should clean more often, and some bacopa growing inside the filter, along with a baby impatient. The majority of the water is being pumped into the base of the filter, which is filled with various sizes of rock and gravel. The water leaves the bog via this 2-inch pipe and just dumps out into the stream. There's the filter up there, and the water flows into the stream and returns to the pond. It's very simple and effective, and I think it looks nice and natural, but then I'm biased. Lastly, we have the larger style bog filters, and these are even easier to hide and make look natural. This is my dream pond, which has 2 bog filters, Again, I'll link a video on how this pond and the filters were built if you're interested. I also have another larger pond where I built the bog filter inside the stream, so I'll link that one also. It's a great way to make the most out of your available space. But for this video, I'll just focus on the bog filters on the dream pond. The pond has 4 pumps running it, 3 of which are sitting inside a DIY intake bay. One of these pumps is feeding the bog on the left-hand side, and the other bog is being fed by a pump sitting just outside the intake bay, hidden by that clump of dwarf sweet flag. The idea being that this pump would pull water from the bottom of the pond. Anyway, that bog is tucked away up there on the right-hand side. So before I ran the plumbing over to the bogs, I set almost all the rocks inside the pond and all the large rocks on the top level. I like to run my pipes inside the liner whenever possible. Here you can see I've started to position the pipe inside the liner around the larger rocks that I've already set. Then you can see I've covered the pipe with smaller rocks and pebble. There's still a bit of pipe exposed there on the left of the bog filter. I also added in marginal plants. Bacopa, sweet flag, tassel cordrush and milfoil are some of my favourites. Here's how it looked before all the plants started to fill in. That barrel is the clean out port, so the bog can be completely drained and flushed. And here's how it looks almost 2 years later. I recently thinned out some of the milfoil there on the left so I could access the barrel, but otherwise it's normally hidden. And here's some footage of the other bog. I lay that fern inside the bog thinking that it was long dead, but that wasn't the case. Again, almost 2 years later, and it's loving life in the bog filter. There's all my favourite marginals in there, along with some sedums, dianella and scleranthus. Those are outside the liner, planted into the ground. If you want me to do an updated video on my favourite pond plants and the plants I like to add into the surrounding gardens, let me know in the comments section and I'll make that happen. So as you can see, it's not that hard to hide your plumbing lines and bog filter components. Just a mixture of rock, pebble, wood and plants. As everything matures, all you see is the natural beauty and not the man-made stuff. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, feel free to tickle the thumbs up button. And as always, thanks for watching. See ya.